Got her fucking done in Vegas, kids. Oh, and everybody was thinking going to Mike Smith wasn't the right idea. I think the team stepped up. Wasn't going to be denied tonight. I don't think it mattered who was in net, honestly. I thought, in LA, we played pretty loose defensively, but tonight we didn't really give Vegas much of anything. I thought we were pretty fucking sound. The first goal was kind of on a broken play, pucks in the air, kind of gets batted out of midair. I don't really fault anybody on that. Clefbaum sort of got walked on the second goal there, but all in all, pretty sound hockey game. I thought we controlled that pretty well. Should have been 5-2 really, because I think that was a really quick whistle on Nuge there, but. If Marc-Andre Fleury isn't playing net for Vegas, that very easily could have been 6-7-2. So that was a fun one to see. First period, I kind of worked today, did a little side job, so got back to town here around 6:30 and dropped off my tools in the garage and went for a bite to eat at our a little restaurant kind of pub thing here and watched the first period there and kind of raced home to watch the second and third. Oh man, it was a entertaining hockey game. I kind of enjoy when we play Vegas. It's not the trap muck grind kind of game. It's fairly up tempo, and I think now we have the type of team that fares well in those games. Obviously, McDavid, Draisaitl, Cassian can, match foot speed with pretty much any team anybody in the league. But the Gaetan Haas, Granlund, Nygaard, those guys can really scoot too, and I think they cause a lot of problems for other teams. Nice to see, a little bit of secondary scoring starting to come too. I think it was only a matter of time before that really got going. I think, we've got some guys with a little bit of foot speed and talent, and it's not like they weren't getting chances before. They just weren't cashing, and now it's starting to come. Sort of feel bad for Jujhar Khaira there, because he was starting to get on a little bit of a roll, and then he kind of gets a little bit of an injury there, but good to see us get right back at it and come off a disappointing game against the Kings and get a win. If they can have a good effort tomorrow and get a win in Arizona, this could shape up to be a really, really, really positive road trip. So yeah, it's good to see the team competing and playing well and not staying down for too long when they face a little bit of adversity. It's kind of the sign of a team that's starting to put it together. I'm a game at a time kind of guy. I really follow the motto of Mark Messier on Boys on the Bus, that you're really only as good as your last shift. But I like the way the season's going this far, and kind of my attitude is if you're in a playoff position by the end of November, chances are you're going to be in a playoff position at the end of April. Or at the the middle of April. I think the St. Blues Cinderella stories are few and far between. So I like the way we're We're going right now. It's good. Cheers. Ethan Bear with a pretty big goal tonight too. I thought, these rookies that we've got stepping in here with Bear and Caleb Jones are very promising for the future. And you know, I think something. I mean, we're in a position now where you can probably afford to deal a defenseman. So who's going to be the odd man out? Who's going to be the easiest to move? That's kind of the question. Or maybe, Ken Holland just stays patient and keeps what he has. And yeah, injuries and can happen. So we'll see. It's definitely it's good to have that little bit of a safety net. Like I don't honestly, I don't mind as terrible as he was, but I personally don't have a big issue with Brandon Manning being the seventh defenseman on this team. And right now, I think he's pushed down. Like when Benning's healthy, Brandon Manning's right now pushed to like the eighth defenseman. So you sort of have Benning, Russell, and Larson, I think, as being somewhat expendable, in my opinion. I guess some people would probably add Nurse to that list, but I wouldn't. I see Nurse as having a different skill set than any other defenseman we have in our system at all. There's things that Darnell can do that nobody else that we have can do, and I think it's still an essential part of hockey. Maybe not so much in the regular season, but like Brian Burke alluded to, I think having a defenseman that can handle himself is a bit of an essential component when you're in a playoff battle. And I don't see anybody else really having that. Not saying you have to fight to be an NHL defenseman, but at times when the shit hits the fan, it's nice to know that you can. Lots of people overlook, a little bit of that old school mentality. If you can't quantify what a guy can do with your charts and graphs and statistics, then apparently it doesn't matter. But yeah, Clefbaum took some mighty fine wallops behind the net, and that over the course of 82 games takes a toll. I don't think Larson's really the type of D partner that's gonna get into fisticuffs, to bail a teammate out. But I sort of think that Nurse being Bear's partner a little bit gives Bear a little bit more confidence to take extra time to make plays, knowing that he's got a big brother beside him. I think it plays a role. I think it's a bit of a feeling out process for Adam Larson, trying to, get up to game speed again. So to be able to win some games while that's going on is a bonus. Yeah. the first goal was, off a broken play. I don't really fault anybody for that. It was a little bit of nothing in front of the net, and puck gets batted out of the air and goes in. Second goal, yeah, their play wasn't great, and then Clefbaum got walked, so shit happens. We still got the win. If it wasn't, like I said, if it wasn't for Marc-Andre Fleury, that game could easily have been 6-7, 8-2. So we really didn't give them, a lot. So that's good because I thought against the Kings Thursday night that LA had way more odd man rushes than any game this season. The first goal, I mean, people want to get mad at Mike Smith for that game, but the first goal, I mean, Toffoli had a fucking clear-cut breakaway from the blue line. And you want to say, well, goalies have stopped breakaways in the past. Sure, but you don't fucking hang your goalie because of it. Yeah, you'd like him to make a save, but for me, that goal is not his fault. If he makes the save, great, but I'm a little bit more pissed off with, I'd have to watch it again, but whoever was playing the right side on the blue line there let Toffoli go, and he was uncontested in from the blue line. And in answer to my girlfriend, yeah, she's great. Things are good. Other than she lives in Calgary and I live in Grand Prairie, so the next time I get to see her is on December 6th. She's flying up to the grandest prairie of them all, and then probably sometime at Christmas time we'll see each other again. So yeah, and Caleb Jones was pretty good back there. I like the way that him and Bear are patient and wait, and when they have a play, they make it. It's not a hot potato, and I think a little bit of that's rubbing off on some of the other guys. I noticed Chris Russell was making more passes on the tape tonight than he normally does. I didn't have a problem with Chris Russell's game tonight. I thought he was good. So the only defenseman I thought that struggled a little bit was Adam Larson. Louis DeBrusque tried to say he had a good game, but I don't know. It looks like he had a little bit of hot potato. Puck was a bit of a grenade for him. But I'll cut him some slack. He's been out of it for a while here, so hard to get right up to speed right away. Well, I like Louis. I've got no problems with Louis DeBrusque. I just I'm not buying that. Adam had a good game tonight. I thought he was okay. I mean, he was passable, but I wouldn't give him an A+ on it. Probably a C-. Yeah, no. I think you have to cut Adam some slack. I mean, he's been out of it for a while, and it's unfortunate for Matt Benning though, because I thought he was playing pretty good hockey until he got hurt there. I didn't really have much issue with Matt Benning this year, so I think Matt Benning's a capable third pairing defenseman. And when he's paired with Chris Russell and Chris Russell's playing on his left side, I think they're a capable third pairing pair. I got no issues there. And I really, Clefbaum, I think's done a lot of heavy lifting. I'm not sold as Brian Burke was that he's in Norris, potential candidate yet, but he's been solid, and he's been, you know, forced to play with a barrage of different people, and he's done well with that, you know. But if you're going to put him in the Norris conversation, I think more points have to start going on the board. You know, I think he's had the most challenging campaign though of any of our defensemen, because every night he's paired with somebody else, and I mean tonight he played quite a bit with Adam Larson, but you know, Caleb Jones was out there with them for a bit. I think Chris Russell on some PKs. So he, you know, he's out there with everybody. So I think that's a bit of a challenge. Nurse and Bear, though, to me, like as a pairing for both guys on the ice, I think that's our strongest pair right now. Bear just makes plays, and you know, I think Nurse's skating ability allows Bear to be a little bit more offensive minded, knowing that, you know, he's got Nurse to cover him up when he goes, and vice versa. It's a really good pairing. I enjoy watching them both. Oh, Caleb had a wonderful game tonight too. I mean, his skating is exceptional, and you know, he's a lot like Bear, where he'll take that, you know, extra second or two to make sure that he makes a play that's, you know, on the tape, and we're out. He you know, he didn't get into any spots tonight where he was in trouble, you know, getting beat to the outside or inside or any of that. Just a pretty sound, fundamental game. I thought James Neal actually had maybe a little bit more extra motivation than normal tonight, you know, playing against his old club there, and at times it was pretty dangerous. If it wasn't for Fleury, he would have lit the lamp a couple times there. I haven't looked at what the start time is tomorrow in Phoenix, but you know, kind of a little bit of a turnaround here, and Mikko will be in net, so that'll be a little bit of a switch from Mike Smith. You know, Mike's a little bit more aggressive and I think animated with his sort of the way he plays the game, and Mikko's just kind of that calming influence in the net, and you know, that might be the right way to go if the guys are a little bit more tired tomorrow. You know, Mikko, I think, stops the puck a little bit more and gets a few more whistles and sort of slows the pace down. And Smith's pretty up tempo and push the pace, and you know, that might be just the right way to do it. Tomorrow's kind of a big game because Phoenix is right on our heels too for first in the Pacific. So, and you win tomorrow, and you're right up there with St. Louis for first in the Western Conference. So, and it's pretty wild to think. You know, I never would have thought in the summer that we'd be where we are. I thought, you know, they're scratching and clawing and fighting for a, you know, 8th place, but to be sitting where we are, gotta say it's pretty nice. And and now you're in the thick of it. You're in the fight, and you just got to keep going, keep battling. Oh, I feel pretty blessed that the team's doing what we're doing, but in our Yahoo hockey pool, I won the draft lottery. So guess who I took first overall, and he's having a nice little season here. Now I should trade everybody so I can have Leon and be doing real well. But like I picked up a few points tonight with Connor getting a pair. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Reeves was running a bit of roughshod there on Clefbaum, and everybody wanted somebody to fight Reeves, and uh, nobody really engaged there at all, you know. And that might have been something that Reeves was looking for, was, somebody to sort of wake them up. And nobody answered that call. I thought sort of the one hit on Clefbaum was a little bit cheap, kind of from behind there, but I don't like to see that when a guy's like a foot and a half away from the boards and kind of get a rock from behind, because if you totally lose your footing, you can go face first into the boards, and I'm all for good hits, but I don't want to see people carried out on stretchers. That's just not my thing. So what do you guys think is going to happen tomorrow night in Arizona? See if anybody responds to that, but I kind of find it funny that, 4-1 win, Koskinen's lights out, yeah. Kind of find it funny that, people are doubting Dave Tippett, and, kind of pretty much sticking to his guns to play a guy 2 games and then go to the other guy for 2 games, and the sort of back and forth thing. But it's pretty hard to argue with our record, and it seems as though if Mike Smith, lays an egg one game, the next game he's really solid. And yeah, I don't know. We're a funny bunch, though. We like to critique and sort of criticize everything. We're a point away from the first. I think it's a point or 2 points out of first in the Western Conference, and we're still splitting hairs over whether or not our coaches should be doing things differently or whatever. And kind of look at it like, the highest level of coaching I've done is Adam Hockey, and I had reasonable success there. But to try to manage an 82 game regular season, and then 4 rounds of a Stanley Cup playoffs is a little bit more than what most of us are capable of doing. So maybe we should let Dave do his job. I look at it too, like when we hired Tippett, he got a lot out of not very much in Phoenix all those years. I mean, Shane Doan is going to be on the ballot for the Hall of Fame, but is he really a Hall of Famer? I don't know. And Dave Tippett had him and a bunch of, you know, AHL All-Star kind of caliber players. And he would drag those guys into the playoffs. I mean, it wasn't talent taking Dave there. It was Dave taking them there with kind of systems and ways of play and all that. And so now I look at it like, okay, now he's got McDavid and Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and a few up-and-coming defenders that can play. And I just think that he's gonna have some success here. Not saying we're gonna win the Stanley Cup this year, but I think it's gonna be a positive experience. The Dave Tippett regime, so we can just pump the brakes on trying to tell him how to do his job and let him go. I really liked this summer when I went and watched a little bit of the preseason stuff when they were kind of scrimmaging and just before they started making their final cuts. I watched him run a practice, and unlike a lot of NHL coaches, Dave is right in there. He is getting his hands dirty. He is wanting to do every drill with the guys and not passing everything off onto his assistants. And the man is hard when he's shooting pucks in. He's rifling it into the corner for guys to go and grab it and break out and that kind of stuff. Like, the attention to detail is at a different level than I've seen in a long time. So it's not really shocking me that he's having some success early here. I like him. As this progresses, though, and if they maintain where they're at, then you almost can take the sort of Kevin Lowe 06 sort of approach and at the deadline really look to bolster your team and make a run for it. But all right, well, you enjoy that game tomorrow night. It's funny, over the years, Arizona personnel has changed, but the fucking style of play that they've, they, the style of play that they seem to keep playing hasn't changed for, 15 years. Still a pretty mucky, pretty mucky in the trenches kind of World War One style hockey. It's not like what we witnessed tonight. Tonight was more, riverboat gambling, run and gun, high flying, high octane hockey. And I think this year we're better suited to play that type of game with sort of the changes that Ken Holland's made to the bottom six. Who's winning the Grey Cup tomorrow? Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Although, honestly, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the CFL this year. I used to go to like a few Eskimo games a year when I was in Edmonton there, but didn't really get into watching a whole bunch of CFL football this year. And tomorrow I have to kind of work at this gym of ours here from 1 till 5, so I'm not exactly sure how much football I'm going to see tomorrow. What time's kickoff tomorrow? I don't even know. Like 6? Four, yeah. So that'll be like 5. Other games start at what, 6 or 7 tomorrow? Go Niners, there you go. I'd be okay with the Patriots 49ers Super Bowl. Jimmy against Tommy. 6, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that'll work out just perfect for me then. I think I'm running out of shit to talk about. Oh. How's everybody's Saturday night going? And by the way, cheers if you're just tuning in. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. You know what? This might be the year that Draisaitl eclipses Connor. And I don't. You know what? I don't think they care, and I know I don't care. As long as you know, it's about making the postseason and kind of going on a run. That's priority, you know. Even if they don't, either one of them wins the scoring race, and they're a playoff team. You know, somebody else can win that. That's they're nice little accolades in that, but at the end of the day, it's about Stanley Cups. You know, that's yeah. And there's probably a lot of players that would trade in a Hart Trophy for a Stanley Cup. So. I think this little stream goes to Facebook and YouTube. I hardly ever get any fucking YouTube viewers, but sometimes get some people view on Facebook. And yeah, I think the first goal is to make the playoffs, and once you achieve that goal, then it's you know you try to win a round. You win a round, and you try to build off that. And if once you get in there, then anything's possible. And we're fighting right now for tops in the Western Conference. I mean, when the playoffs started last year, did anybody say, okay, the St. Louis Blues are going to run the table here and they're going to hoist the Stanley Cup after beating the Bruins in 7 games? Not too many people bet on that. So, it's about making it first, and then once you're there, then away you go. But there's still a lot of work to do between now and then. But they come out of this road trip, if they can win the next 2 games, they're in pretty good shape. This is one of their longest, most grueling, most important road trips of the season, and so far they're faring pretty well. So try to keep it going and keep building. I don't think, though, you want to start getting into a spot where you're looking into April when you're still in November. That's a recipe for disaster. I'm just gonna check here and see if any kids are looking at the old Facebook live here. My old man checked out the Facebook live there, so it's good to know I got a fan from a different avenue. Thanks, Pops. It's funny, you think that YouTube is gonna be your ticket to getting somewhere, but I hardly ever get any viewers on YouTube. It's pretty sad, actually. The one I did one of I was mad at in the summer. Everybody wanted to trade Nurse and whatever because they didn't think he could be re-signed and all this, and so I did one of these in the summertime, and I had, when you get on Periscope, when you get to 1,000 viewers, it'll say 1K, and then you have no idea where you're at until you the next time it'll give you sort of an update is at 2K, so you could have 1,200 or you could have 1,999. But in the summer I was over 1,000 viewers on one of these on here, and during the season last year the most I would get is 450 or 475. So that was pretty crazy. Now I've got this working so it'll go on to Facebook and YouTube, but I think the most viewers I've ever had on YouTube is 12. So it's pretty it's pretty insignificant, but now kind of this stream goes to YouTube and Facebook and Periscope, sort of Twitter, all at the same time, so we'll see what can happen. But I've kind of exhausted everything I wanted to say, I think, tonight, so I'm gonna leave you guys with my patented catchphrase. So remember, keep your sticks on the ice and keep reaching for the stars. Let's beat the shit out of the Coyotes tomorrow. Good night.